Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. So a couple of days ago, the Warner Brothers chairman spoke about the future of the DCEU or the Worlds of DC or whatever you want to call it. But he did say they were less interested in a shared universe. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be shared at all. They're just not going to overly focus. You know, when they're doing one film, they're not going to be focusing on 5 films ahead. So what does this mean for Zack Snyder? Well, he did turn around and say we want to go back to what we were doing, focusing on each movie, having director-driven films. This could be great news for Zack Snyder and the Snyder Cut. Imagine it. I mean, this could happen. I don't know about him being fully involved with the future of the DCEU, but certainly this could really help the Snyder Cut. If this is the case now, that they are only going to focus on each movie as an entity and they're going to let the directors have creative freedom, there's an opportunity here to fix the Justice League mess. Imagine releasing the Snyder Cut as the real Justice League. It means when we do our binges, and when we get to Justice League, we watch a proper coherent film. This could fix a lot of things within the DCEU. This is a very important moment. This is a very important interview. I do think it's time, though, that Walter Hamada came out and spoke about his total vision for the worlds of DC. I think it's very important now that Warner Brothers makes some kind of announcement about the Snyder Cut. I think it's vital now, it's pivotal now. You know, them responding publicly via the Hollywood Reporter about the success of Aquaman, saying they're very encouraged by it. They think this is a turning point. I think it's a turning point. I think it's an important moment. And their plans do look interesting. But what does this mean for the Snyder Cut? Well, nobody truly knows what's going on, or even if they have any intention in releasing it. But the point is that his comments about focusing on each film, about, you know, giving the directors creative freedom is a very interesting moment. It's certainly something that James Wan had. There's no question about that. Although there have been some rumours that Jeff Johns wanted Black Manta in the film and his origin in the film, and James Wan didn't. Again, we don't know how true that is. Personally, I'm glad that Black Manta was in it. Black Manta is a very important character within the DC universe. So I think they kind of gave him a kind of backdoor pilot, if you like. They told his story within somebody else's film. That saves a lot of time if they do a Black Manta origin story. Will Black Manta be front and centre of an Aquaman sequel? That's interesting. Or will he have his own film? I think there's big potential here for both. Black Manta is a very popular character. He's a character that people are interested in. So it remains to be seen whether he gets his own film or if he's going to go with this personal battle with Arthur Curry in an Aquaman sequel. I think with what the Warner Brothers chairman said, there are high hopes for a Snyder Cut, for the real Justice League cut. And I mean, we've been fighting for this for so long now. These comments by the Warner Brothers chairman are very pivotal, very important that these noises are being made now. Now, some people are disappointed, and what happens is when these things are kind of released, people they react without thinking. The guy didn't say that the DCEU will no longer be a shared universe. They're just not going to focus on that shared universe in every individual film. There might be a cameo, there might be a reference, there might be an Easter egg. You know, in Aquaman, we had one reference to Steppenwolf, and that's what it will be. We had a little reference to Bruce Wayne in Wonder Woman. That's fine. That shows it's still shared. Look, they were bitten. They were burnt with Justice League. So they're a bit scared to go fully fledged. But his comments about playing by the DC playbook instead of the Marvel playbook, these are blatant comments. This is basically Warner Brothers saying, we were wrong. I mean, you'll never get a studio saying that, but this is as close as you'll get. So I think it's a very, very pivotal moment. I don't know why some people are upset by this. I think it's the right move. it worked with Aquaman, and they must keep on doing this. So I'm very excited by his comments. I'm very excited that they want to focus with every movie. And also what the Joker movie proves is they're happy to do kind of interesting indie type projects as well, which is great. You know, as successful as the MCU's been, there will be a point when people get bored, because it literally is the same thing, film after film after film after film. And the focus is more on the Avengers movies being really good, while the individual films being very kind of generic and uninteresting and really not watchable, rewatchable. But if you focus on great movies that really, you know, capture the imagination of the audience, you have got rewatchability, and you all of a sudden get everyone's attention. Not just talking about the mainstream, I'm talking about all the movie-going consumers' interest and attention, and that could be great for the future of the DCEU.